Let stress go. 5 stoic ways to stop stress from controlling your life. Stress. It's something we all face, isn't it? The heavy weight that seems to sit on our shoulders without asking for permission. The constant pressure, the rushing thoughts, the feeling that you can't catch your breath. But here's the truth. Stress doesn't have to control you. You don't have to wake up every day feeling as though it's inevitable, or that it's something you have to carry. What if I told you that you have the power to stop stress from taking over your life? What if I told you that you don't have to wait for life to calm down before you can find peace? The truth is, peace is available to you right now, in this moment. And it doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from the way you choose to see the world. It comes from how you respond to the things you can't control. And it comes from practicing a few simple principles that have been guiding people for centuries, Stoic principles. In this video, we're going to explore 5 Stoic ways you can stop stress from controlling your life. These are powerful yet practical practices that will help you regain your calm, shift your mindset, and build resilience in the face of life's challenges. I know life can feel overwhelming at times, but you don't have to let stress define your story. Together, we'll dive deep into how you can shift your perspective, embrace what's in your control, and create inner peace. You already have the strength inside you to let go of stress. It's time to take that first step towards a life where stress doesn't hold the power. Let's begin this journey together. Part 1. Recognize what's within your control. Have you ever stopped to think about what's actually within your control? It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of life, isn't it? The stress that seems to come from every direction, the deadlines, the expectations, the endless to-do lists. It feels like there's so much going on, so much that's out of your hands. But let me ask you this. What if I told you that you have more control than you think? What if the secret to reducing stress, to feeling lighter and more at peace, lies in recognizing the boundaries between what you can control and what you can't? You see, one of the greatest gifts Stoicism offers is the simple yet profound idea of focusing on what's within your control. It's a concept that, when understood, can change your life. The Stoics understood that we can't control everything. Life will always throw challenges our way. But what we can control is how we respond. So take a moment to reflect. Look inside. What can you control right now in your life? You control your thoughts. You control how you choose to interpret the events around you. You control the actions you take and the energy you bring into each day. You cannot control the traffic on your way to work, but you can control how you react to it. You cannot control the weather, but you can control how you choose to experience it. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control your own response to them. It's a subtle shift, but one that makes all the difference. When you focus on what you can control, the things that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their grip. You start to see that much of the stress you've been carrying comes from trying to control things that were never yours to control in the first place. This doesn't mean you're powerless. Quite the opposite. It means that you, right now, have the power to choose where you direct your energy. And when you start to direct your energy toward what you can influence, you'll find that stress doesn't control you anymore. You do. So, take a deep breath and remind yourself. You are in control of your mind, your actions, and your responses. When you focus on what's within your control, you free yourself from the weight of everything else. And in that freedom, you'll find the peace you've been searching for. It's always been there within you. It's time to recognize it, embrace it, and let go of everything that's not yours to carry. Part 2. Reframe your perspective. Change your viewpoint on stress. What if the way you see stress is exactly what keeps you trapped in it? What if the key to letting go of stress lies not in trying to remove it entirely, but in changing how you view it? It's easy to think of stress as something that just happens to you, something that overwhelms you, something you're powerless against. But what if stress didn't have to be your enemy? What if it could be an ally in disguise? You see, one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is to reframe how you look at stress. Stress is often seen as a burden, a weight that you must carry. But when you look at it through the lens of stoic philosophy, you start to see it differently. Stress, at its core, is simply a reaction to an external event. It's not the event itself that causes your suffering. It's your perception of it. This is where your power lies. You may not always be able to change the situation, but you can always change how you respond to it. Imagine for a moment that the stress you feel is not a signal that something is wrong, but rather a signal that you are growing. The Stoics believed that challenges, even difficult ones, are opportunities for growth. Stress often arises when you are stretched beyond your comfort zone, when you're being pushed to adapt and evolve. What if you could start to view stress not as something to fear or avoid, but as a sign that you are pushing the boundaries of what you're capable of? In this way, stress becomes not a threat, but a tool that sharpens you, strengthens you, and helps you become the best version of yourself. Take a moment and think about a time when you were stressed, but in hindsight, that stress led to something positive. Maybe it was a tough project at work that ultimately made you more skilled. Maybe it was a personal challenge that taught you resilience. When you look at these situations with a fresh perspective, you see that stress didn't control you. It transformed you. Now consider this. Every time stress shows up in your life, it's offering you an opportunity to practice patience, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to strengthen your ability to stay calm and composed, no matter what's going on around you. Reframing stress doesn't mean pretending it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean suppressing it or ignoring it. What it does mean is choosing to see stress as something that can work for you rather than against you. When you embrace stress as a part of life's natural flow, you take away its power to overwhelm you. This is where the Stoic mindset shines. The Stoics taught that the only thing within our control is our own judgment. The situations we face may be beyond our control, but how we view them is entirely up to us. By choosing to reframe your perspective, you can free yourself from the grip of stress. So, next time stress creeps in, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is this stress trying to teach me? What is the opportunity here? With each moment of stress, you can either feel overwhelmed or you can choose to see it as an invitation to grow. The power to change your life is in your hands. Just change how you look at stress. And when you do, you'll find that the stress that once controlled you will become a force for your growth, strength, and peace. Part 3. Practice acceptance. What is you've probably found yourself in situations where everything feels out of control. Maybe it's a problem at work, or a disagreement with a friend, or the world simply seems to be falling apart around you. You feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or even angry that things aren't going the way you want. In moments like these, the idea of acceptance may feel impossible, even counterintuitive. But what if acceptance is the very thing that will set you free? The Stoics taught that one of the most powerful ways to reduce stress is to practice acceptance, accepting what is, just as it is. This doesn't mean giving up, resigning yourself to a life of passivity. No. Acceptance, in the Stoic sense, means understanding that there are things you can control and things you cannot. And just as importantly, it means making peace with those things beyond your control. You might be thinking, but how can I accept things I don't like? And it's a valid question. You're not supposed to just tolerate everything without feeling anything. But imagine, for a moment, that by accepting the reality of what is happening, you are actually giving yourself the freedom to act in a way that is calm, measured, and constructive. When you fight against what is, when you resist reality, you exhaust yourself. You waste energy on things that you cannot change, which only adds to your stress. Acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means understanding that it's here. And once you accept that, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You stop letting the situation dictate your emotional state. Consider this: when you stop resisting the things you can't change, you create space for yourself to focus on what you can control. You start to see the situation clearly, without the cloud of frustration and anger. And once you see it clearly, you can respond thoughtfully. Acceptance is not about passivity. It's about strength. It's about the power to choose your response in any given situation. It's about acknowledging that life has its ups and downs. And while you can't control everything, you can control how you react. And in that reaction, you hold your true power. Look at it this way. Every moment of stress or discomfort is an invitation to practice acceptance. When life throws you a challenge, instead of getting caught up in the why me question, try to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? This is where your strength lies. In the willingness to meet life as it is, rather than how you wish it would be. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to fix everything. What you can do is embrace each moment as it comes, knowing that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way with grace and resilience. Acceptance doesn't make life easier, but it does make it possible to live more fully. By accepting what is, you free yourself from the burden of resistance. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, and you begin to focus on the things that truly do. It's not about letting go of your desires or ambitions. It's about acknowledging that you can't control everything and making peace with that. When you do, you'll find that you can breathe a little easier, move a little lighter, and face each day with a little more clarity. So ask yourself, what can I accept today? What's outside of my control, and how can I let it go? When you do this, you take back your power. You stop letting stress control you, and you take the first step toward real peace. Part 4. Focus on the present moment. Stop living in the future. How much of your stress comes from things that haven't even happened yet? Maybe it's that meeting next week, the bill you're worried you can't pay, or the conversation you're afraid to have. Your mind races forward, painting pictures of what might go wrong. And before anything has even occurred, you're already exhausted. But here's something the Stoics understood deeply. The future does not exist. Not yet. The only moment that is truly real is the one you are in right now, this very second. And if you're not living here, then where are you? You might feel like you're being responsible by constantly planning ahead. or that worrying somehow prepares you for what's coming. But the truth is, when you live in the future, you miss your life. You lose touch with the quiet beauty of the present, and you carry weight that isn't yours to hold yet. The present moment is your anchor. It's where your power lives, not in yesterday's regrets, not in tomorrow's uncertainty. Right here, right now, this breath, this heartbeat, this step. When you come back to this place, you begin to feel grounded, centered, calm. You probably felt it before. That brief pause when you look at the sky and forget your worries for a moment, or when you hear a song that quiets your thoughts. That feeling isn't a fluke. It's who you are when you're not being pulled in 1,000 directions by your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He wasn't suggesting that you stop preparing for life. He meant that life can only be lived well one moment at a time. When you focus on now, you respond better. You see more clearly. You feel more alive. Try this. The next time your mind starts spiraling into the future, pause. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Not tomorrow. Not next year. Just now. That small shift in awareness can bring a surprising sense of peace. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't have to predict every outcome or control every possibility. You only need to show up to this moment, fully, and trust that by being present, you're giving your best self the space to emerge. Focusing on the present is a daily practice. It's not about perfection. It's about noticing when you drift and gently coming back to this breath, back to this choice, back to what you can see, touch, hear, and feel now. The future will come, and when it does, you'll be ready. Not because you worried, but because you were present, grounded, and awake to life as it unfolds. So slow down, come back. Let yourself arrive fully in this moment. Because this is where your life is waiting for you. Part 5. Cultivate inner calm. Make stillness your ally. You've probably been taught to chase things. Goals. Deadlines, recognition, control. The world tells you to run faster, do more, achieve endlessly. But in that constant motion, something sacred is often lost. Your inner stillness. Yet deep within you, beneath the surface noise, there is a place untouched by chaos. A quiet space that doesn't depend on the world being peaceful. It simply is. And that space is yours. It always has been. Stillness isn't about sitting in silence or escaping life. It's not retreat or resignation. It's presence. It's clarity. It's the strength that comes from knowing you don't have to react to everything. You don't have to meet the world's noise with your own. There's power in stillness, a quiet kind, a calm that whispers, I don't need to prove anything right now. And when you learn to return to that place, especially when things feel loud and uncertain, you begin to live with intention instead of impulse. You already know what it feels like to lose your calm. The racing thoughts, the tight chest, the feeling of being pulled in a dozen directions. But when you pause, when you give yourself permission to be still, the ground beneath you returns. Seneca once wrote, Nothing is so bitter that a calm mind cannot find comfort in it. And he was right. Stillness doesn't erase pain, but it gives you space to breathe through it. It doesn't solve every problem, but it allows you to meet each one with grace. You don't need hours of meditation or perfect discipline to find your stillness. Sometimes it's found in a slow breath, in closing your eyes for a moment and feeling your heartbeat. In stepping outside and letting the wind remind you that life moves with or without your worry. Stillness becomes your ally when you treat it not as a luxury, but as a necessity, like water, like sleep, like truth. It grounds you when the world wants to spin you around. It protects your energy. It clears your vision. When your mind is still, you see things as they are, not as fear paints them. You respond with clarity, not reactivity. You find space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you reclaim your peace. Don't wait for the world to be quiet to feel calm. Choose to be the calm in the world. Make that your daily act of rebellion, your quiet revolution. You have that power right now, not after your to-do list is done. Not once everything is perfect, but here, in this breath, in this pause. Your calm is your compass. Return to it often. Trust it. Let it guide you, not away from life, but deeper into it. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is be still. Conclusion. The power to change lives in you. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply human, living in a world that often forgets how to breathe. But now, you remember. You've learned that control is not about holding on tighter, but about letting go of what was never yours to carry. You've learned to shift your perspective, to stop seeing stress as an enemy, and start treating it as a signal. You've learned that acceptance is not defeat, but peace. That presence is not passive, but powerful. And that stillness isn't the absence of movement. It's the return to yourself. This journey, your journey, isn't about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you've always been beneath the noise, the fear, and the pressure. The calm, the strength, the wisdom. So as you step back into the world after this video, take a moment. Feel your breath. Notice your body. Listen. Not to the chaos outside, but to the quiet knowing within. You don't need to master everything today. You only need to remember one thing. You already have the tools. And you already have the strength. Let your next moment be slower. Let your next word be kinder. Let your next thought be gentler. You are capable of peace. You are worthy of peace. And every time you choose to live with intention, you don't just change your day, you change your life. If this message spoke to you, if it helped you feel even a little more grounded, I invite you to stay on this journey with me. Subscribe for more moments like this, more reminders that you are enough, and more tools to live as the calm in the storm. Take care of your mind. Take care of your breath. And above all, take care of the quiet strength that lives in you. Until next time, be well, be still, and keep returning to who you truly are.